For today's tutorial, we're going to be making use of a 5-ply new cotton yarn, and for both of the projects, that is the finger gloves and beanie, I'm going to be doubling the strand of yarns together, and I'll be making use of a 5mm hook for both of the projects as well. To begin, we're going to start by making a slip knot. Then chain 26 chains. So I've made a total of 26 chains, and this measures about 7 inches. When I place it on my hand like this is where it stops and this is where it starts. Remember, we're making a fingerless glove, so I'm okay with this length. If you want yours longer, chain additional chains, and if you want yours shorter, chain lesser chains. But just make sure that the total number of chains that you have is in an even number. Now you're going to chain one extra, then turn your work. Now for this row, we're going to be placing all our stitches at the back loop of each chain, and this is what I mean by the back loop. This part. Not here, but here. So now you're going to skip the first chain that you've made and make a single crochet in the next stitch. So now you're going to do something different. I don't know how to really explain this, so I'm just going to try and work closely to the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Now for this next chain, you're going to insert your hook into the single crochet that you just made, then yarn over, insert your hook into the next chain, then yarn over, pull through. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on the hook, then yarn over, pull through the entire loops, and that's how we make the second stitch. So on the next chain, we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet again, then repeat what we did here, that is insert your hook into the single crochet stitch, yarn over, then place your hook into the next stitch, that's into the next foundation chain, yarn over, pull through so that you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the entire 4 loops. So for the next, you're going to do the same thing, a single crochet, then go ahead and create this stitch. So you're going to repeat this process till you get to the end of the row. I'm almost at the end of the row. I'm now going to place my single crochet, then going for that's it for row 1. For row 2, you're going to chain 1. So now you're going to see that we have like a V shape on top of each stitch. So instead of going into like this, like we normally would, we're going to insert our hook on the back loop only of each stitch. So on the loop that's not facing you, because if you keep your work like this, I'm actually sitting down like this. So if I place my work like this is the side that's facing me, and this is the part that's not facing me. So I'm just going to place a single crochet in here, then repeat and make the other stitch that I taught you guys how to make. Now single crochet. I really need someone to get a name for this stitch so I know what to call it when next I use it. and we crochet it again. And so this is basically the repetition of the row 1. It's just that we're working at the back loop only for each stitch. So just keep doing this till you get to the end of the row. I'm at the end of my row 2 and I have 2 stitches remaining. That's it for row 2. So for row 3, we're going to chain 1 and repeat row 2 basically. You're not going to be repeating row 2 till this can wrap around your palm very well. So since this is kind of like a ribbon stitch, this is going to stretch out a lot, so make sure that as you're making yours, you're wrapping it around your palm to see if it fits correctly. So I'm just going to make mine off camera and I will tell you guys how many rows I made and give you guys the measurements for my own fingerless. So guys, I'm done with mine and it measures 7 inches. So now the next step is to place your hand in the beanie and figure out where you want your thumb area to be, like so. When you figure it out, you can now place your stitch markers to indicate where you want to stitch for the top part and where you'd like to stitch for the down parts. So I already done something like this. So this is the other part and this is the thumb area. This is the top part and this is the bottom part that I stitched. So I'm going to show you how this looks on my hand so you get a clearer picture of what I mean by indicating your stitch marker where you'd like your thumb area to be. So this is how mine looks. So you just have to place this on your hand and put your stitch marker around here and put your stitch marker around this part. So you're going to be slip stitching to join here and slip stitching to join this part of our hand warmer. So for mine, since I've done it before, I don't need to place a stitch marker. For the top part, that's this place that my hands are going to be at, I slip stitched into 11 stitches. So to do that, turn your work like this, insert your hook into here and insert your hook into this loop that we had left from the last row, then pull through like so, chain 1, turn your work like so, insert your hook into the very next stitch, then into the next from the side and make a slip stitch to here, into here, make a slip stitch to the very next, to this part, make a slip stitch. So for me, I'm going to be slip stitching into 11 stitches, sorry, then I would cut. I've slip stitched through 7 stitches. I'm just going to chain 1 and cut. So this is going to be the top part of my hand warmer. That's this part here. So now the next part is to give space for the thumb. By now you should have done yours by using a stitch marker, but from what I have here, I left it to love 6 chains for my thumb. I'm going to skip 6 chains. Then I'm going to slip stitch into the remaining chains that I have here to close off my hand warmer. That'll be the bottom part. Remember to skip 6 chains from this side as well. So if you're working with my measurements and the same chains that I made, you're going to be slip stitching through 9 stitches. So slip stitch your way through till you get to the very final stitch. So chain 1 and cut. The next step now is to hide your loose end, or you can decide to cut. I advise that you hide them. You can use your darning needle, or you can hide with your hook like so. Or you can choose not to hide them at all. So this is going to be the back part of our hand warmer. I'm going to turn and show you how the front looks like. So this is how the front looks like. We're going to be making this really cute beanie. As you can see, it has like 3 different types of stitches. There's the half double crochet side, then there's this side, obviously this stitch, obviously that's from the fingerless glove, and now we have the slip stitches. This tutorial is not beginner friendly. If you're an adventurous beginner, you can actually do this, but you might have a little bit of difficulty. But trust me, I'm here to help you out. If you have any problems with understanding how I made this, just leave it in the comment section and I will respond to you. Now let's make the beanie. So chain a total of 43 chains. So I'm done making my 43 chains, and this measures up to 12 inches. 12 inches is very okay for an adult size beanie, because this is a unisex beanie. It can fit a man and can fit a woman. So if you make your 43 inches and you discover that your 43 inches is longer than 12 inches or is shorter than 12 inches, you can decide to make more chains or lesser chains. Just make sure that the total number of chains you have is in an odd number. So now let's go to the very next step. To begin, we're going to chain an additional one, turn our work, and insert, for the hand warmer we inserted into here. Before here, we're going to be placing our stitches by the side like this. So now you're going to insert your hook in here and make a slip stitch like so. Then you're going to slip stitch into 4 more stitches or 4 more chains, giving you a total of 5 slip stitches. I've done 4. I need to make my last. So after making 5 slip stitches, we're now going to go ahead and make this stitch that we made for the hand warmer. That's the single crochet, then go into your single crochet, yarn over, pull through, single crochet, so you're going to do this for a total of 24 chains. So by the end you should have 24 stitches made in this design. So I did a total of 24 stitches of the hand warmer stitch. I'm going to show you guys how I got this as 24. So if you did like more chains than I did, or lesser chains that I did, how you would get the total number of stitches that you should do here is to measure from the brim parts. You're going to measure 4 inches from the brim parts and place your stitch marker. So as you can see, mine equals 4 inches. Let the stitches you have to make this design and the one you have to make your half double crochet be an even number so you don't make mistakes. And if you're a beginner, I would advise that you place a stitch marker at every part that you start and end your new stitches. Let's continue with the tutorial. After making 24 stitches, we're now going to go in and make our half double crochet stitch. So you should be left with 14 stitches of foundation chain. After you've done your 14 stitches, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and place half double crochets at the back loop only. The same thing we did for the hand warmer. So now you're going to be placing 14 half double crochets. Remember you had 14 at the first row, so you're going to be making 14 for this part as well. So I've done a total of 14 half double crochets. Now please, to make this easy for you, if you're a beginner to crochet and you don't want to go through the hassle of counting your stitches, you can just place a stitch marker here before you start making this other stitch. My stitch marker is kind of far. I would have shown you guys how to do that, but you don't need a stitch marker necessarily. If you have another color of yarn, you can go ahead and place yarn under like so as your stitch marker. So now let's proceed and make this other design. So now we're going to go ahead and place a single crochet in the very next stitch, just like we did for the hand warmer. Then go ahead and make the next stitch like so. single crochet, yarn over. So repeat this till you get to the slip stitch part. And remember, in case you're counting your stitches, you should have a total of 24 stitches, same as what you had here. So I'm almost at the end. I did 24 stitches for this pattern. I'm now going to go in and make 5 slip stitches into each of the stitch. And remember, back loop only, back loop only. So now that we're done with this, we're now going to chain 1 and make 5 slip stitches, sorry. I've done a total of 4. Remember, if you're going to find it hard counting, you can place a stitch marker here so you don't have to count when you get to this part. So now we're going to go ahead and make this other pattern, that's single crochet and the other stitch, which I don't know the name of, sorry. I know I didn't really explain how to make this stitch in detail, so if you skipped the hand warmer part, you can just go back and watch the beginning part of it to actually get how to make this stitch. So remember, we are going to be placing 24 stitches or any amount of stitch that you had if you made longer chains that I did or shorter chains that I did. So I've reached where I'm going to be placing my half double crochets. So now, sorry, remember you're going to be placing your half double crochets in the back loop only. You can now take out your stitch marker and place it in the very first half double crochet. I prefer counting, so I don't really need a stitch marker, or maybe it's because I've been doing this for a while. Remember, back loop only, and make sure you place in the very last stitch. So you should have a total of 14 half double crochets for this part. In order not to make this repetitive, I think we're going to stop here for now. So you're going to repeat rows 2 and 3 till you get to your desired length, till you get to your desired measurement. So I'm done with mine. I did a total of 35 rows and this measures 18.5 inches. Remember, this is a ribbon stitch pattern, so this is going to stretch out. It's just like the fingerless globe that you made. This is going to stretch out to 22 inches or 23 inches, depending on whoever is wearing this. So the next step now is to attach these two sides together. So now you're going to turn your work. Now we're going to attach both sides together. This is where my work ended. So I'm going to insert my hook into this part that has foundation chain, then into the loop here, then pull through and chain 1. So going to the next stitch, that's the next foundation chain here, and insert your hook, then into the back loop of this part and make a slip stitch. So into the foundation stitch, the next foundation stitch here, then into the back loop of the other side. Slip stitch into here, into here, slip stitch into here, and into here, slip stitch. So repeat this till you get to the end of the row. That's this part. So I'm almost at the end of my slip stitches. So once you get to the end, you're going to chain one and cut. Make sure you leave like a loose end. We're going to be using it to close the top part of the beanie. Insert this end into your darning needle. If you don't have a darning needle, even though that's going to take a long while, you can use your needle, your crochet hook. You can make use of your crochet hook in passing this. So now you're going to insert your hook into here, pull through, then into this part, pull through. So you're basically just going to be inserting your hook into the sides of your stitch. So keep doing that till you get to the very end. I'm kind of back to where I started from. As you can see, this is where I did my slip stitches. It's barely visible, I know, but you're supposed to do this till you get to where you did your slip stitches, because that's where you started inserting your hook from. Your needle from, rather. The next step now is to pull tight. Pull this very tight. If you look, you'll see that we have like a very tiny hole in there. So just go in and try and stitch this up a bit to cover the hole. You can go into here like this. Pull through. So now if you check on top, the place that had the tiny hole is closed a bit. When I toggle it further, you'd see that there is no hole, there is no space again in the beanie. So just go and secure this. Go ahead and secure this. When you're done, you're going to try and hide this in your work if you want it to be neater, or you can just cut and tie, then bond, because this is going to be at the back either ways. You can just tie it up. then bun. I'll do mine later. So let me show you how this looks. So this is how it looks when I turn it. This is how the beanie looks. So this is the brim area. The side that has the half double crochet, and we're just going to fold it like so. So this is how it looks when folded. So now we've come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. I had fun teaching you guys, even though some things kind of made it quite difficult for me, but I'm so glad I also come to the end of this tutorial. If you succeed in making this, please, I'd like to see pictures of your beanie. You can send it to me through any of my social media handle. Thank you.